Welcome to Lions Live 365. I'm your host, Michael Ayers, and today we are doing a draft profile for Jaishawn Barham. This is, once again, I think this is episode 2 of Hunting for Hutch Help. We're going to look at potential edge players and keep doing this until we actually get to the draft. With Jaishawn, this is one of my favorite watches that I've seen so far. I got some more on the way, but we gonna break down Barham, right? So let's get right into it. Jaishawn Barham is 22 years old. He's a linebacker edge hybrid. He has done both for a full year at least. He was a linebacker for a couple of years. He was a transfer from Maryland to Michigan. And at the end of the day, Wink Martindale, a very respected defensive coordinator, who is at Michigan right now, moved him from off ball to the edge. And at the end of the day, this dude has talent, right? One of the things that kind of put me onto him as somebody who really doesn't watch college football at all, once I started doing this, I said, you know what? Let's look at the list of people that we've actually interviewed. And one of the combine interviews was Jaishawn Barham. One of the things I like about this dude, you know what? Let's get right into the strengths. Keep getting ahead of myself. This dude is walking violence, okay? He hits things with a ferocity that I like, okay? As soon as he actually diagnoses what's going on, you see him fire off, and he goes and hits something hard. I like the level of violence this guy plays with. It doesn't matter if you're the running back. It doesn't matter if you're a tight end trying to block him. It doesn't matter if you are a pulling guard. When you meet Barham, his presence is going to be felt, right? I've seen him thump pulling guards, and it's just like, this dude is only 6'4", 240. He is not some monster-sized dude. He plays well above his weight class, right? At the end of the day, the PFF gave him a 90 run defense grade in 2025. He has really good bend around corners. He has 89 career pressures, and when his hands land with the amount of force and explosion that he comes off the ball with, he makes sure that whoever is on the other side of that feels that. And it's violence. It's walking violence. This is how football is supposed to be played. And I love watching this kind of player, right? It's one of those things where you're seeing someone and you're like, okay, you see some flaws in this game, and I'm about to get into that. But at the end of the day, once he understands what's going on, somebody's getting hit. Somebody's going to get hit hard, right? So when I looked at his weaknesses, when I really kind of looked at certain things he doesn't do well, and then I said, you know what? I'm not the expert. Let me look around, see if anybody else is seeing what I'm seeing, and they see what I'm seeing. But one of the main things that stick out to me, right? He's really only been mainly a like pass rusher for 1 year. He's been an off-ball linebacker for 2 or 3 seasons. Maryland, his first year at Michigan, he was mainly an off-ball guy that was finding his way to the passer from the second level. He's really good at that, but he's only had 1 year where he's just coming off the edge consistently. He's not the best in man coverage situations. If you get a really good tight end on him, or you get a shifty running back, sometimes he can get kind of juked out his shoes a little bit. He could be a little too violent, right? I'd rather have to, dial a guy back than try to push him, But at the end of the day, he may get a flag, because when he meets people on that field, I like that. I like it, but at the end of the day, I understand that sometimes he's gonna get a flag. He's bumped into a ref before. He's gotten suspended for targeting. But at the end of the day, man, this is the type of violence we need. We need some players with some edge, right? His pass rush plan does need a little bit of work. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, he's only been mainly a pass rusher for a year. So if that first move doesn't win, there's really no counters behind it. He can definitely work on that. I actually just fully expect him to get better at that, but that's just the reality. He wins fast or not at all. All right. And then, of course, his lack of experience, sometimes he really doesn't finish plays because he didn't win clean enough. Right. And he's affecting the quarterback, but because he's not his technique isn't perfect, it's not polished, it may put him in a situation where he's getting pushed past the pocket, or he's just close enough to the quarterback but he's not taking a good enough angle for him to basically beat his man in a way in which the quarterback can't get away. So when you look at what he's doing, you see the flaws, but you definitely see some real deal dog, right? The only thing, and like his instincts off ball isn't like he's a great diagnoser, but once he figures out what he's doing, once he decides, it's a go, right? So let's talk about the final thoughts, right? I think he can be a great pick depending on the value, right? This is the type of player that gets people fired though, because he shows you everything, just a little bit of everything, but it's not mastery of much, right? He's not a great off-ball linebacker by any means. When it comes to run defense, he's great. But you start play action, you start working him in the pass game, he's not the best, right? And as an edge rusher, he's only been doing it for 1 year, and it's not like he's Michael Parsons. This is one of those situations where he has the Michael Parsons build. He got the athletic profile. He's linebacker edge, and what happens is you see somebody else be successful at it, and then you assume like, oh, I can be the next team to get that type of person, right? So if you get somebody like Barham, that's what you want. That's what you want. You want high end. Hey, this works out. This is Abdul Carter, Michael Parsons, that level of linebacker to edge. The same thought process for Arvell Reese. We getting a budget Arvell Reese, a Sheehan Michael Parsons, right? But the thing is, how many times have we seen busts of quarterbacks that are Josh Allen types, like with all traits? You're going off traits. He's not somebody who has had 10, 11 sack seasons. I think his career high in sacks is 4 sacks. So you're hoping that he can put it all together because you see all the pieces, and sometimes those pieces never come together, right? But when you are looking at that level of athlete, we got to start thinking, hey, we might need to take these risks. There are certain things where you have to challenge your coach. You have to have a very real and specific plan, because right now, today, he can give you special teams because he's a guy that can run and hit. So I'm sure he can make a team on special teams, and he can give you third down DPR. He could be a third down designated pass rusher coming off the edge, and at best he can take that Derek Barnes role where it's like, hey, I'm a linebacker that stands up, but I pass rush 200-300 times a year. I think Derek Barnes rushed the passer like 200-300 times, something along those lines, right? So when you're rushing the passer that often, hey, maybe get another guy in there, somebody that's really really good. For me, because of the risk, like his ceiling says that he's a second round pick, in my opinion. Ceiling. But I think because of the risk with the lack of, hey, I haven't seen you be an edge and be dominant in college, and I can't really kind of gauge where that's going to go, I would put a third or fourth round value on him. Like I would take a chance in the third or fourth round, regardless. I think tweeners, is the hardest thing to judge if somebody's gonna be great, if they're really two things, because he's a linebacker and an edge. He's done both at just a good enough level for you to believe in both. And I'm not sure all the way, so I wouldn't trust it like with 50, but third or fourth round, I'm taking him. Like to me, he's a fringe top 100 player. And that is all, folks. Whether it is game day, draft day, or any day in between, it is Lions Live 365. Please like and subscribe. Peace out, man. Hey, and if y'all want anybody, just let me know in the comment section. Is there somebody you want me to cover? I'm going to stick to edge for a while, and then I'm going to switch over to tackle. Have a good one.